Good morning.
Morning, miss.
How are you all?
Fine.
Had your breakfast? Rush for the class?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
brush.
Fresh for the class.
Okay.
എടാ ഇപ്പാരാ കാവ്യ മിസ്സാ?
Yes, I'll be handling. Did you people get the materials which I have shared yesterday?
Yes, miss.
Yes,
Okay,
teacher.
did you go through those? If any doubts, people do ask me anytime. Do not hesitate, okay? If you have any confusions, do ask, do clarify. Because for this, the theories might be confusing whether to write about scientific management or whether to write about management, whether to mention about human relations management. So do not get confused. If you have any confusions, do clarify whenever you want.
Okay, miss.
Many are yet to join. So shall we get started with
Yes, teacher. അവിടെ എന്തെങ്കിലും കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ ആരെങ്കിലും?
ഇല്ല. ഉണ്ടല്ലോ.
ഇല്ലല്ലോ.
അല്ല ഇപ്പം പറയുന്നില്ല കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ടീച്ചർ ഒന്നും കേട്ടിട്ടില്ല ഇത്ര നേരം.
ഇല്ല.
ഇത്ര നേരം കേട്ടിനി. ഇപ്പൊ ഒന്നും പറയുന്നില്ലല്ലോ.
ഇല്ലില്ല, അതാ ചോദിച്ചേ.
ഒരു പാട്ട് പാടാരെങ്കിലും.
റെക്കോർഡിംഗ് ആടാ. മണുവിനെ കൊണ്ട് പാട്ട് പഠിപ്പിക്കാം.
എടാ ഇതേതാ പേര്?
കാവ്യ മിസ്.
ഇത് അജയ് സാറിന്റെ പീരീഡ് ഇനിയിപ്പം കാവ്യ മിസ് എടുക്കുന്നു.
അവിടെ ഇന്ന് സപ്ലി ഉണ്ട്.
അവിടെ ഇത് നവംബർ ലാസ്റ്റ് വരുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ സപ്ലി.
സീനാന്നല്ലേ.
സത്യം.
So let's get started.
യെസ് ടീച്ചർ.
Yes.
So where we stopped yesterday?
General principles of management.
General principles of management. Was that where we stopped? We also studied about theory X and theory Y, right?
Yes. Comparison between theory X and theory Y.
Yeah, of course. We completed till those portions.
Yes teacher.
Joel, late.
Yeah. So the thing is that we have also completed the neoclassical approach. Now we will be moving on to the third theory of the management theories. That is the modern management approach. Okay. So from the management theories, we had the three categories. That was the classical approach, neoclassical approach, and then the modern management approach that is still being continued. We have already studied about the classical as well as the neoclassical. Do go through the notes. If you have any doubts, do clarify. Now the thing is that the modern management approach, we can say that it sees the organization as a complex system and uses modern techniques to solve the organizational and human problems. The thing is that the present world, it is more complex. It is there are involvement of MNCs. The globalization aspect is there. So the modern management approach is much more complex. It involves the scientific factors and also the human factors. And the thing is that it involves the use of modern techniques to use the solve problems, whatever problems, whether it is technical problem or whether the human related problem. So for whatever it is, the technical methods, modern technical methods will be used. So it is more about the use of techniques and arts. It is a combination of science and art, and it helps to solve the complex systems and all. So that is what the modern management approach is about. So the most important modern management approaches. Under the modern management approach also, we have three subdivision, that is the contingency management theory, system approach, and the theory Z approach. Okay, these are the three approaches or the three theories that we are going to learn under the modern management approach. So first we'll begin with the contingency approach. So, talking about the contingency approach, we can say that contingency approach stress the absence of single best way to do or manage things, and also it emphasizes that the need for the managerial strategies based on all relevant facts, which means that under the scientific approach or the theory or the principle given by F.W. Taylor, he said that there is one best way to do all jobs. But when we evolve, when we come here to the modern management approach, what they say is that there is no one best way to do things. Instead, it is that there are many best way to do things, and also emphasis that the need for the managerial strategies based on all relevant facts. The managerial strategies are being given importance because the thing is that depending upon the environment, depending upon the situations, or each and every problem will be changing, each and every environment will be changing, each and every situation will be changing. So there is a real need of managerial strategies to solve all the problems and also take decision on based on all the relevant facts. So we can say that the main features of contingency approach is that management is externally situational. It means that it is not just about the internal factor. Management involves the internal as well as the external factors, which we have already discussed in the first module. So externally situational, it means that the conditions of the situation will determine which the techniques and the control system should be designed to fit for a particular situation. Depending upon the external factors, we'll be deciding what and how to solve a problem and how to do it, what to do it. This is what the first feature of contingency approach is about. Then the second feature is that there is no one best way of doing anything. So, which means that to do a particular job or to do a particular thing, there is no one best way. That is what here it means. The thing is that to do task A, only this can be performed. That cannot be followed. What they say is that depending upon the environmental situation, the same problem might be solved in different manner, or the same work might be done in different manner. For example, the thing is that if you want to produce a good in India, will be different from the way it is being produced in US. So there is no one best way of doing things. Depending upon the conditions in India and depending upon the conditions of US, they'll be changing it. That's what they say. There is no one best way of doing anything. Depending upon whatever factors it has in environment, it will keep on changing. Then the third feature of contingency is that one needs to adapt himself to the circumstances, which means that it is not that he stays rigid, he stays inflexible, but the thing is that depending upon the changes, he should adapt to the changes. It should not be that if an old technology is used, only that technology itself is used for the same throughout the production of that good itself. As the thing is that with the evolution, with the modernization, with the globalization, changes will occur. So with the changes, what happens is that you have to adapt to those circumstances. That's what it says. Then the thing is that it says the other feature is that it's a kind of if then approach. If then approach in the sense that if this happens, then this is a way to do it. That is what if then approach is about. So ifs might change, so the then will be changing. So it is what about if then approach is about. Then we can say that this contingency approach is more practically suited, since it is a modern era. We cannot follow those old classical, the scientific and the neoclassical methods. We have evolved a lot. The world itself have changed. The working environment itself have changed. So this contingency approach seems to be more practically suited for the present organization. Then what we can say is that the sixth feature is about management policies and procedures should respond to environment. Whatever the policies and procedures the management adopt, it should be responding to the environment. It is not just that it is for your sake, but it should respond to the environment. It should respond to the environment. It should be for the changes, or it should be according to the changes of the environment. Then the thing is that the final feature we can say is that highly dependent on the experience and judgment of the manager. Since the thing is that there is no one best way of doing, there is no particular theory of doing such whatever activity it is depending upon the situation at hand, and depending upon the situation at hand, the manager will be taking decisions, isn't it? So for the same reason, the uh, experience and the judgment of the manager will also affect this contingency approach. So we can say that the last feature is that this contingency approach is highly dependent upon the experience and the judgment of the manager. So these are the main features of the contingency approach. And the contingency approach, another name for contingency approach, we can say that it is situational approach. Okay, the contingency approach or the situational approach, and this mainly stress the absence of the single best way to manage, or emphasize the need for manager strategies based on the relevant facts. And what we can say is that this do have many advantages. The main advantages, what we can say about the contingency approach, is that contingency approach guides the manager to be adaptive to the environment. The thing is that depending upon the changes in the environment, it will help the manager or guide the manager to be adaptive to it or make changes according to it. So it is a very good advantage of contingency approach. The thing is that manager is not forced to do the same old thing. They are not asked to repeat the same old way of doing. Instead, the thing is that whenever there are changes, whenever there are means relevant situations at hand, whenever there are problems, whenever there are different situations, the thing is that it will guide the manager to be adaptive to the environment. Whenever there is an environmental change, the manager can be adaptive to it. That is what the first main advantage of this contingency approaches. Then the thing is that it tells the manager to be practical and open-minded. That is what the second advantage is, that it does not confine the manager, it does not restrict the thoughts of the manager. Instead, what they say is that they have to be practical and be open-minded. They should have a what wide, vast thinking. They should have a vast opinion. They should have vast knowledge. They should have a bird's eye view. That's what the manager's skill should be, and how he should act to different situations. A practical and open-minded approach should be there. Then we can say that it is an improvement over this system approach. System approach we'll be learning. The system, it is an improvement to the system approach. But one of the main disadvantage of this contingency approach is that here for the contingency approach, the manager need to be competent in several aspects of managing an organization. He have to be efficient, he have to be practical, he have to be open-minded, he have to know all the situations in hand, he have to take the right decisions. So it everything depends upon the manager, isn't it? So this itself is a main limitation, saying that the manager may not be having all the necessary skills, he not be efficient in all the ways, isn't it? He too is a human being, so he cannot be 100% perfect. So there are some limitation. This is the limitation to the contingency approach. He may not be having all necessary skills. So this is what the main disadvantage of contingency approach is. So hope the contingency approach is clear to you. Is there any doubt? It is a simple way you can understand, since it is about the modern approach. You people will be knowing about what a present organization is. You might be witnessing it in many ways. So You people might grasp this more easily. So now moving on to the system approach. So coming to the system approach, what we can say about system approach is that in the case of system approach, here the organization is being viewed as a system in the sense that there will be many subsystems we can say that we for example we can say departments, and all these subsystems are interrelated or dependent upon each other, and also all the subsystems will work for the achievement of a common goal. That is what the system approach is about. So the first point itself, they defines that the system theory is an approach based on the concept that organization can be visualized as a systems. So here what they say is that organization is seen as a system. And what does a system means? A system is a set of interrelated parts that operate as a whole to achieve common goals. So system means that they, there are means in the case of system there are many subsystem or many parts, or all these parts are interrelated with each other, and these parts will always work together to achieve the common goal of the organization. That's what system approach is about. So the full system is made up of many parts. Each part of this system is called subsystem. So the system itself is broken into many parts, and these parts are known as the subsystem. So in every organization, what we can say is that there are four major components or four major systems or subsystems. We can say that the four important or the major elements or the subsystems in every organization are: the first is the inputs. The inputs means that whatever inputs you are giving, for example, the resources such as raw materials, then money, technology, people, all these are the inputs. Then the second component is about the transformation process. Transformation process is about the when these inputs are given, the process where they are planned, organized, staffed, then directed and controlled, then ultimately they produce the output. This is the transformation system. So where you manage, the thing is that planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Where this process takes place is known as the transformation process. So once the inputs are given, then the transformation process occurs. Then we get the output. The output will be the life or the productivity of the product, then life of the product, the customers. So these are the uh, outputs that we get. Then at last, when the outputs are being sold in the market, then what happens is that we get the feedbacks from the clients will be there, feedbacks from the customers will be there, and also the feedbacks from those people within the organization who produce the goods will be there. So once the output is given, then the feedback will be taken. So for you to make it much more simpler, is the diagram visible to you? Can anyone switch on the mic and respond?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So the thing is that this is how a system is about. Here you can see that first the input is there. From the input includes this all these kinds of resources in the form of raw materials, money, technology, and people. They will be flowing into the transformation process. In this transformation process, what happens is that the planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling will occur. And then, all with this transformation process, the output is being produced. When the output is being produced and it reaches the market, then we'll receive the feedback. And then Based on this feedback, again, we'll decide what kind of input have to be given, at what quantity have to be given, and what changes have to be made in the transformation process. So this is how the system goes. This is how this cycle goes. So all this system works in an environment. That's what it is shown out at the outside. We can see that it is shown as environment. All this system works in an environment, and this environment can be sometimes be open, or the system can be, we can say that it can be open or the closed system. So that is what you hope this diagram is clear to you. First, the input will be there. Input, the transformation process. From transformation process, the output will occur. We'll get the output, and from the output, based on the output, we'll get the feedback from the customers, clients, and also those people who are producing. And based on the feedback, we'll improve our next step of input, transformation process, and the output. And this is known as a system. Hope this is clear to you. Okay, now the third point is that the system can be opened or closed. That is what we are discussing with the environment. An organization that interacts little with the external environment and therefore receives little feedback is called a closed system. So if an organization is not interacting with the external environment and they are not getting much feedback from the outside customers and all, then they are known as the closed system. But on the other hand, if they are interacting with the external environment and also they are getting much more, lots and lots of feedback, then it is known as the open system. So this is what about the system approach is about. Then the thing is that it should be remembered that the output of a system is always more than the combined output of its parts, which means that this is called a synergy, which means that uh, as separate departments within the organization cooperate and interact, they become more productive than if they had in an isolation. Which means that if a department is there, if a subsystem is there, if they are working in an isolated manner, then their output won't be that efficient. But instead, the thing is that each subsystem or each department is working in cooperation and are working in interrelated, being dependent upon each other. Then the thing is that they will have more productivity, they will have more output. This is known as the synergy. When they interact with each other, when they interrelate with each other, when each departments are interrelated with each other, and when they achieve a higher output, this is known as the synergy. So this is what about the system approach is. So, to summarize, we can say that the main features or the main important points of system approach is that considering an organization is a system consisting of many interrelated as well as interdependent parts or the subsystems. There will be subsystems in an organization, and this subparts or subsystems should be studied in the interrelation ship rather than isolation. The thing is that synergy must be there. They should be dependent upon each other. They should be interrelated with each other. Each subsystem should be in with the interrelationship with each departments rather than being in isolation. That is this second main feature. Then we can say that the organization is responsive to the environmental effect. It means that it is vulnerable to the changes of the environment. Whenever there is a change in the environment, the output also changes, the input changes, the transformation process changes, everything will be changing. So they are vulnerable to the environmental changes. And also we can say that as a system or organization always draws inputs from the environment, then these inputs go through the transformation process and returns as output to the environment in the form of goods and services. So what we can say in the system approach is that uh, when you have a look at this diagram, these inputs are taken from the environment. From the environment, it goes through the transformation process. Okay. Through the transformation process, after the transformation process, the output occurs. The output has been produced. Then this output is again being reached in the environment itself. It takes from the environment in the form of input and gives to the environment in the form of output in the form of goods and services. So everything begins with the environment and ends with the environment. That's what about the system approach is about. Then we can say that, yeah, this is all about the system approach. So hope the diagram and the main features are clear to you. Now we have the contributions and the limitations of this system approach. Okay, so let's start with what are the advantages of contributions of the system approach. The first contribution is that the manager have a good view of the organization. In the case of system approach, since there are subsystems, each manager will be knowing what are the departments are there, how they are interrelated, whom they should depend, from where we are getting the inputs, to whom we should give the output, what are the transformation process that have to happen. The managers will have a very good idea, a very good view of the organization. Then the thing is that the second contribution is that it gives importance to the interdependence of departments and its environment. It is not just that each department should work in isolation, which means the production department should work alone, or the thing is that the marketing department should work alone. No, it doesn't emphasis on that. What it says that they should be interdependent, they should be interrelated. Each department should coordinate with each other and work. Importance to interdependence of the department is given. Then the third is that forecast the consequences and the plan, and it also plans action. Here, the spelling of consequences is wrong, so sorry for that. Uh, uh, the thing is that in the case of system approach, it forecasts the consequences and also plans action for the uh, whatever problem is there. Hope that is clear to you. The thing is that in the case of system approach, the manager can forecast what are the things that is going to happen, or what are the reason for this has happened. The consequence of less production can be forecasted by the manager, and also the thing is that he'll be able to plan action for it once the feedback, since there is a feedback system over here, the plan of action again takes place. Once the feedback is received, they can improve from that and take the next plan of action. That's what it means over here. Then the thing is that it warns the manager against adopting piecemeal approach to the problems solving. Piecemeal approach in the sense that instead of solving the whole problem, sometimes there might be a situation that only a piece of it is being solved. For example, the thing is that if a whole meat is being cooked, and uh, the thing is that each and every person is served with the same meat, and if you feel that the salt is less, so what happens is that only whatever is served to you is being salted. You get that? So the thing is that only the salt or the taste of your piece or the meat piece is being solved out. Instead of that, if the whole meal is, or the whole meat is being salted, then it would be like uniformly everyone will be getting a better taste for that same meat piece. So that is what it means over here. It warns managers against adopting piecemeal approach. Instead of considering only that situation or a particular situation, it helps the manager or wants the manager to view the problem as a whole and solve that problem as a whole. That's what it means over here. So these are the main contributions of system approach. Then coming to the limitations. The limitations of system approach is that it does not adequately specify the interdependence between the organization and its environment. The thing is that though they say that there is an interrelation, interdependence of departments and all, how they are interrelated, how much they can be interrelated, how much they can depend upon each other, that is not being specified. Then the thing is that it tends to be rigid and will react slowly in open environment. uh, Once the thing is that it is since there is a certain flow that has been fixed, input, transformation process, output, feedback, it tends to be rigid. It is not, we cannot change it on and off. And also the thing is that since there is this process which is taking place, we need the feedback. This feedback and all takes time. It is not just that once you produce a product and it will, on the spot you'll get the feedback. This feedback and all will take time, so we can say that it reacts slowly in the open environment. Then the thing is that it is more suitable for manufacturing industry only. The thing is that in the case of service industry, this system cannot be followed. The thing is that the inputs, the transformation process, output, and all are different in the case of service system. It is a different way of managing a service oriented industry, isn't it? So here they are mainly focusing on the manufacturing industry only. So it is a limitation or a disadvantage. Then the thing is that it does not offer practicing managers specific tools and techniques. The thing is that in the case of the system approach, it does not offer practicing managers the specific tools and techniques, and also the thing is remaining rather abstract for the practical problems. So the thing is that managers are not provided with the specific tools and techniques to solve a problem. That is a main disadvantage of this system approach. So this is about system approach. The Cauchy's theory will deal it in the next hour. So till here, is it clear to everyone?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Okay. So let me just take your attendance.
Teacher, do you have one more period in this today?
No. Only this hour I have. Why bored of my hour?
No.
No, very interesting.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yes.
So when I call out your name, can you people please put means yes or present on your message box? Okay.
Okay, miss.
Advait.
Yes.
Advait is not there. Yeah, Advait is there. Ajay Krishna. Akhil K. Akshay Krishna. Akhil K is not there. Akshay Krishna is the Akshay KT. Okay. Akshay Rajiv is there. Amarnath. Amarnath. Amarnath is also not there. How come that be possible? Okay, Amarnath is not there. Pind is there. Diljit. What about Diljit?
Question, teacher.
Diljit is not there. Gokul. Both the Gokuls are there. Jishnu Dilip. Where is Jishnu Dilip?
He has some big network problem.
Okay. Joel is there. Junaid is there. Minoj is there. Then Sinan is there. Niket, where is Niket? Niket is present. Okay. Pranav K, Pranav N. Pranav K, what about Pranav K?
Approximate.
Okay. Ritvik is there. Sarath, Srinath, Srirag, Sulabh. They all are there.
Present.
Yadu Krishna, Yadu Harish. Okay. Arun Raj, Jishnu KV, Jishnu Sajeevan. Okay. Renish is there. Neeraj is there. Neeraj, where is Neeraj? Yeah, okay. Vaishak.
Present.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
teacher.
teacher.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you,
Thank you, miss.